I can bet you that this video is going to be taken down because I'm going to be talking about real world problems that I see on a daily basis. I work with neurodivergent children and just children in general, and I have also worked with low-income families and have seen a lot of shit that needs to be fixed. And I'm going to be talking about how the world is just so backwards and we're falling behind all the time. I'm going to be calling out a whole bunch of stuff, and I just think that it's probably going to be taken down, but if you see this. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about issues that I see in the world that I think need to be fixed and have needed to be fixed for a long time, because I'm so tired of seeing people thrive off of doing people dirty, and then the people who are done dirty are just broke and poor when they're the ones doing all the work for the rich people who are usually talentless. And seeing families that I work with just struggle so much because the system keeps failing them time and time again, and nobody talks about things like this for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I'm gonna find out why, but we'll see. The first thing that I notice is that the big celebrities and the big people who could be making these changes, the presidents, celebrities, big names, rich people, are living in these ginormous, huge houses. They have like 8 houses. They have like 7 cars. Oh my gosh, they're making videos about like, what car should I pick today? Guys, help me pick out a car to drive. Meanwhile, there's kids that are starving on the streets, and there's families that can't even afford one house. Meanwhile, there's like people who just buy things just to buy them because they're bored and stuff. And people could say like, oh, they worked for their money and stuff. Yeah, they worked for their money, but after a while, if you're a billionaire, you're not a billionaire. You're not a billionaire because you exploited people time and time again. You took advantage of people time and time again. You did not become a billionaire on your own ethically at all. So technically, that's not your money. You didn't pay people properly. There's just no way that someone could become a billionaire. And honestly, I think that these celebrities and big names and famous people, rich people, have to be on the streets for a day or need to work hard ass jobs, because my job is really hard. Like, it's really, really, really hard. But I do it because I want to see change, and I want to be there for children who don't have support or need support. And I've worked with families who, their parents are absent or they're in jail or whatever the case may be, and I've gotten bruises, I've gotten hits and whatever from these children, but at the end of the day, they're kids that are being failed by the systems. And I just think that celebrities and big names and politicians, they live in the White House, they live in the big houses, so they'll never change anything because it benefits them. It benefits them to take advantage of people who are now poor. And I think that they need to struggle. And there's so many like big famous people out there that are like, oh, like I came from struggle, I'm a self-made billionaire. No, you're not. If you came from struggle, you would not be taking advantage of people time and time again. You wouldn't be watching people tweak out on the streets because they're on drugs, and like you wouldn't be looking at these things and being like, okay, whatever, like I'll do nothing about it. Like you wouldn't. You would try to help. If you came from nothing, you would help the broke, you would help the homeless, but you don't. Like, there should be nobody with 10 houses or like a huge gigantic mansion for a family of 4 where there's somebody laying in the streets with their dog, sleeping on a pillow and like a random blanket that they found because they can't afford shit. And people can be like, oh, well, those people are lazy, those people are whatever. No, they're not lazy. I've worked with these types of people, and I've worked with people who face homelessness or face having very low income, and it's because multiple systems have failed them time and time again. Whether it's that they grew up in the foster care system, they were abused. There's this one child that I worked with, oh my god, his dad was in and out of jail, right? His dad was in and out of jail. His dad was extremely abusive, yelling at him, whatever the heck. And the child that I worked with, he started learning from his dad. So he was saying the same shit that his dad was saying because he wanted his dad to like him. He wanted to be accepted so badly by his dad. He was saying the same shit that his dad was saying. And then his mom was struggling with drug addiction. And so with those two combined, and I don't know about the grandparents, they didn't really give a shit about him. So he has nothing right now. He has no system holding him together. And to expect a child like that to grow up and be able to fend for themselves, have a job like everybody else, have no trauma. People love neurotypical advantaged people. People love just people who are middle class or upper class. They don't like to deal with the real shit of the world. But then they're like, why is there such a high crime rate? Why is there so much homelessness? Why is there so much addiction? But it's because I've had friends who fell into addiction because that's the only way out of their misery at the time. Like, that's the only way out of their reality. They're struggling so much in life. They're losing people around them. They have no job. They have no family. They have no income. They had trauma from their childhood. They were in the foster care system, whatever it is. And they go to drugs to fix that because nothing else, all the systems are failing them. They have nothing else. So they lead to drugs because that's the only thing that'll numb their pain. And so it's like, there's so many problems that need to be fixed before it blows up into this other issue. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm like, every single place where I've worked, I've seen the same shit over and over. I've worked in places where there's literally like needles on the ground because they put all the low income kids into this one center because it's close to their houses. And there's needles on the ground, there's drugs, there's police, like policing the area. And it's like, what the fuck? Why are these kids having to grow up in these situations? But it's like nobody talks about it. And I think that if people start talking about it, people actually start like having conversations about this, maybe something will change. I don't know, but I think it's important to talk about. And I'm not wishing ill on celebrities. I am not somebody that hates celebrities, who wishes bad on them. I actually love seeing people win, but it's whenever you don't do anything with your wins to help other people that I have an issue with it. If you are constantly winning and you're just watching other people fail behind you, you're not actually winning. You're just taking advantage of people. You're just stomping on people to get to the top. And I know that if I was big like that, or if I had it like that, like I would do so much to help, because I've actually seen shit. I feel like celebrities are so like, oh, like they're in this little circle where everything's just like wonderful and what amazing. And, you know, obviously there's trauma in Hollywood, but like there's, you know, they don't see the real shit that goes on in the world. And I think that if they did, or if they had any sort of sympathy, there'd be a lot less issues. There'd be a lot less homelessness. There'd be a lot less starving children. And I actually know this for a fact because most of these celebrities or influencers don't give a shit. As long as they have it and they have it good, then they don't really care. Because there was this one influencer, I don't even know her name, I don't even care. But people were like, are you going to do Angel Tree? And they were like, other people can do Angel Tree, other people can do it. Like, I don't want to do Angel Tree. Like, they were being so ignorant about Angel Trees. And like, you don't have to do Angel Trees if you don't want to or whatever, but it's like, you are ignorant for that, for real. Like, if you're not going to help other people, if you're not going to look out for these kids, because these kids are going to turn into adults, and then these are the adults, the kids turn into the adults who are failed time and time again, and then they don't get the help that they need, and it's like a huge cycle, and it's just like, what the freak, like, seriously. And I'm just kind of going on, but like, I remember the kid that I was talking about, the one that was like, the dad was in and out of jail and whatever, I saw him, I was hoping that he would be able to turn his life around, right? And like, I don't know why I thought he could. Like, obviously a kid that's just neglected beyond words is not going to be able to turn his life around by himself. But he aged out of the program that I was working in, and he was like, I saw him on the bus the other day because I was taking the kids that I currently work with, because these kids didn't age out, but he did. And I was taking them on the bus one day, and he was around such a heinous group of kids, and they probably have, you know, similar background to him, and I'm just like, oh my god. And it's like, people hate abortion, and people hate seeing, you know, people terminate pregnancies and stuff, but then they don't care about the kids that are actually here. Like, if you're gonna say you care about kids and you care about people and you care about all these things, then fix homelessness, fix the drug issues, fix, you know, the children that are being abused, fix the foster care system, because there's kids that are in the foster care system, they age out of it and they have no support, they got nothing, they have no stability, nothing. They lived with their, you know, they moved house to house to house to house to house, and each time they moved the houses, all their belongings and shit was put in a trash bag, so they're basically labeled as a piece of trash in society. And it's just like, how are you supposed to grow up and get a job after that and be good after that? You know what I'm saying? And another thing that I noticed is that like, celebrities will post and be like, PR haul, influencers will be PR haul, look at my hauls, like, I went shopping, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that, and they're just buying things to buy things. They don't even know why they're buying it, and half of it like rots in their closet and whatever. And it's like, and then they go and like sell it online when they could be actually donating all the shit, because they don't really need that money anyways. and they'll even like double tax it. Like they'll have like the influencer tax on it because they wore it. So they're like, oh, people will buy this for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars when it's worth 20 because they want my name associated to it. And it's like, you're a bad person. Like seriously, like you could be donating half that shit. And like, hot take, but I think that PR is so weird because honestly, like I get it, like for sure, like do the PR, send your like big companies, send, you know, big huge influencers, even micro influencers, the shit, and then they have to like sponsor and promote it and whatever. So it's just like a back and forth of like big people becoming even bigger and even richer. But it's like send half of it to big celebrities and influencers, and then send the other half of it to people in need. They can also do reviews. And now it's not just like paid reviews, it's actually real reviews. They're actually reviewing the shit and being like, oh, this is actually like good, whatever. You can send baby clothes to people for free. You don't have to always send the rich more stuff. They don't need it. And I get it, you want to promote your company, for sure, do that, but also help the people who need shit. And like I remember I went to a concert one time in Toronto, and there was this homeless couple, I think. It was a man and a woman, I'm pretty sure, and they were eating out of a garbage can. They were like literally like people just walking by because we were all in line to get into the concert, so people had food and they weren't allowed to bring the food in for safety reasons into the venue and whatever. So they put it in the garbage can. And the homeless couple, were eating out of the garbage can, and the police come and like pull them off the garbage can. They're like, you can't eat that, and they're like, why? And they're like, it makes it look bad. Like they think that letting the homeless people eat out the trash cans is what makes society look bad. It looks bad that you're letting people get to this point. You're making housing so difficult to achieve, like owning a house so difficult to achieve. It's so hard for these people to get a job because of their past, their trauma, their, you know, their criminal records, whatever it is. They can't get a job, they can't live for themselves. You're just setting these people up for failure. And then whenever they, you know, resort to like helpless situations like eating a garbage can, nobody wants to eat a fucking garbage can, man, but they do. And then you pull them off and humiliate them. You're like, you can't eat it or that, get out of here. And it's like, what the freak are you doing? Like, buy them something. And like I honestly don't usually give money to, you know, people in need. I usually buy them something instead because I don't want it to go to unfortunate causes or resources. So I buy them stuff. But it's like there's so many people who could be out here doing so much more. Governments could be putting in so much more effort, but instead they're like making roads and pavement and shit, and it's just like, seriously, man. But I like to stay out of politics because I don't even think that this is politics at this point. I think it's just like basic human stuff that need to be changed, like just basic things that people shouldn't even have to talk about anymore. Like we shouldn't have to talk about people having no house, children being on the streets. Like that shouldn't be a reality, correct? Like there's so much money in this world, there's so many billionaires in this world. Give them a max. They can have like $20 million, and the rest of the money they gotta donate to people. They gotta give it away because honestly, that's not your money anymore. You exploited people to get to that point. You're greedy and you're rich and you're disgusting. Give the money away. Cap it. Put a cap on how much people can have. And as long as their kids are set, as long as they're set for life, the rest of it can go to other people. And it's just like, and also people like celebrities make big like companies like makeup brands, and then they make the makeup like so expensive, and it's like, you don't need that money, you don't need it, you're just doing that to be stupid, you're just doing that for greed, and you could be donating so much of it. Like I just think about all like the children that I've worked with, all the families that I've worked with, and it's like so many of these problems could be fixed if people would actually focus on what's important and not stupid shit in the world. And it's like, I'm not trying to pull a Jaden Smith and be like, let's talk about the political and economic state of the world, but it's also like, yeah, let's seriously, let's talk about it, because it's getting out of hand for real. Like people are like bitching about somebody terminating a pregnancy. Wow, there's so many children in the foster care system who are just being abused and have nothing, and then grow up to have nothing literally because they're on their own after being abused for so long and having no life experience and having nobody in their corner, having no morals or values set into them, and they're put out into the world and they're angry and they're frustrated and they're scared, and it's just like, it's crazy. Shout out to Miss Rachel because she seriously is fighting for so much, even though people are shitting on her time and time again, they're like, why are you talking about this and stuff? But it's like, you have to. Like, you can't have good news without addressing the bad. And I feel like there's just so much that needs to change. There's so much that needs to change. And yeah, so the reason I honestly care is because I've seen systems fail people time and time and time again. Like, people with disabilities don't get the help that they need, which is why I'm here, helping people with disabilities and people who are neurodivergent. And I'm working to be a teacher because I know that there's so many children out there who need so much extra support, because it starts from childhood. Like, you don't just become an adult and just, you know, sometimes life does fall apart, but most of the time it starts in childhood, and I've seen it in real life, where kids turn to be children turn to be teenagers, and, you know, they just grow up with a hard life. And obviously you can assume how their future is going to look based off of that. And I think it's not only their job to figure shit out, I think it's also our job. Like, obviously it's unfortunate that these children have to grow up in these environments, but it is their responsibility to turn around, but it's also ours. Like, we're the adults in these situations. We're in the positions to help, especially big celebrities and big names and big companies are in a huge, you know, position to help. Like, I know that if I had a company, and whenever I do make one, whether that be clothes or whatever, I will be sending free shit to people who actually need it, and not just celebrities and influencers who are going to hype me up. Because I think giving, and like, people go on live streams and give rich people money, and I'm like, what the freak are you seriously doing right now? Like, actually donate that to someone who needs it. But yeah, those are my opinions. And I'm interested to see the comments, honestly, but I'm not deleting it.